sometimes rules are not always right. And sometimes you have to test those rules against the motives and your inner moral compass that's inside your heart. Today's gospel, we hear an encounter between Jesus and the religious leaders at the time of the first century of Jesus. The religious leaders are called the ritual referees because they're calling out all of the faults of the disciples, especially around not washing their hands before eating, which was a major flag on the play penalty. It rendered someone unclean, which meant you were an outcast from the community. The religious leaders who were the referees about the rules were really bent on that human observance of the tradition. Now, Jesus was very respectful of their tradition, and yet he called out that those were human rules, but to pay attention to the divine commandment of love. And he also called out that nothing can defile someone from the outside. It always comes from within. So he challenges the leadership about that and says, pay attention and focus on what is inside your heart. Is it inside your heart goodness or is it evil? He says evil comes from within. It comes from within the heart. Evil thoughts, theft, murder. He has a whole list of the bad stuff that happens. He says that doesn't come from the outside, it comes from the inside. So this week, let's pay attention to the inner thoughts of our heart. What is our moral compass and rules that we live by? And pay attention to how we live those rules in love. And reflect on, is there anything that we need to realign and be in sync? That anything that may cause us to render ourselves that comes out of us that is not good. And that we need to realign to love. Because Jesus calls all of us to that divine commandment to love other people in our thoughts, in our words, and especially in our actions. What comes out of us from our hearts? Because externally, that doesn't render us unclean or bad. It all comes from within. Let us pay attention and live from that place of within that drives us towards love. Amen.